Do you always think why other people seem to belong and you don't? What's wrong with you? You think avoiding social interactions is better because you believe no one understands you or wants to. But deep down, you are just afraid of being judged or rejected. Let me tell you a story about Oliver, a senior at his graphic designer bachelor degree that sits in a crowded room feeling like a ghost. He smiles, nods politely, and answers when spoken to, but inside, empty. Maybe you know the feeling too well. Maybe you have worn the same mask, pretending you're fine. But beneath the fake smile, there's silence and numbness. Every time Oliver gets up in the morning, the first thing he does is scrolling on his phone, watching what everyone is doing, what news did he miss, and if he has any message to reply. However, each time the boy engages in his morning routine, he feels tired, bored, and detached, not only from his friends, classmates, but also from himself and his purpose of life. Alfred Adler, a psychologist, explains that it is your social interest that determines your feeling of belonging to something bigger than yourself and finding purpose through helping others in some certain way. Adler explains that this shows up in three main areas of life: work, such as giving something useful to society through your skills and effort; friendship, where you build meaningful and cooperative relationships; and love, creating close, respectful, and caring bonds. However, when you lack social interest, as Oliver, you feel cut off, like you're on the outside looking in. Without real bonds or sense of purpose, life can feel empty. Every time Oliver goes to class, he feels like a machine, going through motions without any enthusiasm, and withdraw from social interactions, because they feel pointless. This disconnection often leads him to loneliness, anxiety, and depression, because he's only focusing on his own inadequacy. Not focus makes feeling of inferiority and overwhelm even stronger. Adler believed from the moment we are born, we develop an inferior complex, because as babies, we are tiny, helpless, and we have to be dependent on others. This means, from the start, you're wired to want to grow and overcome your own limitations. The psychologists call this the drive to strive for becoming the best version of yourself. And in order to reach that striving, each of us creates a self-ideal, the kind of person we want to be. But here's the catch. If you see yourself as far away from that ideal, you can feel inferior. Of course, a little of that feeling is normal. After all, it pushes to get better. Yet, that feeling takes over you. You stop trying and start hiding it, and it becomes an inferiority complex. Oliver always wanted to be confident, a person who could approach anyone without having his heart racing. Someone that trusted his own abilities and skills without having to prove to anyone that he was good at what he does. And most important of all, Oliver wanted to live in a big city, in a luxury apartment that has an incredible view of the city lights, and he could watch the busy urban lifestyle from his window. He sits at coffee shops, scrolling through his phone, while friends laugh at the next table, wondering if they'd noticed if he disappeared. He also practiced what to say before joining a conversation, and then walking away when the moment passes. Secretly, the boy thinks he's not interesting enough to have real friends, convinced no one will care what he says, often feeling less than others. What parts of yourself have you hid so you fit in or avoid rejection? Alfred Adler believed that by around the age 5, you already formed a unique pattern of thinking, feeling, acting, and striving toward life goals. This pattern, which he called your lifestyle, is the way you see yourself, other people, and the world around you. It's like a personal life blueprint. that is built early in childhood and carried into adulthood. This blueprint is shaped by several powerful influences. The family atmosphere you grew up in, whether it was strict, warm, chaotic, encouraging, plays a major role in how you develop. Birth order also has an effect. For example, Adler believed that firstborns, middle children, youngest children, and oldest children often show different patterns in personality and behavior. Childhood challenges such as sickness, disability, family conflict, or poverty can leave lasting marks, influencing the way you view life and your place in it. Oliver's life blueprint was shaped before he even knew it existed. Growing up as an oldest child, in a tense home with all the support and expectations of the parents on his shoulder, and with a father who often dismissed and judged him with phrases like, "Why don't you like to play football like the other boys in the neighborhood?" Or, "I don't get why you are showing me your B+ paperwork. It's your duty to get good grades as a student." Oliver quickly learned that speaking up wasn't worth it, even when he had something important to share. He often found his words met with harsh comebacks, sarcastic questions, or quick subject changes. Over time, his mind began to tell him, "Such as I am, I'm not enough." In other terms, Oliver's early experience, combined with the emotional climate of his family, created a lifestyle where avoiding rejection became more important than reaching out. On the outside, he appears calm and polite, speaking only necessary, but inside, he feels tense in almost every interaction. Keep in mind that this pattern isn't random. It's the blueprint his early environment carved, guiding his choice in school, work, and relationships. Adler saw human beings as driven by a deep striving for significance, or what he called a striving for superiority. In his view, it is about overcoming the feelings of inferiority we all experience as children. Our lifestyle becomes the guiding force in how we try to achieve that sense of worth and meaning. Sick of always diminishing his light and hating how he shrinks himself every time he leaves the house, Oliver begins to change his behavior. In class, he would raise his hand to either ask a question or to share his answer with the rest of the classroom when he knew the answer. Despite still being tense and nervous when he spoke up, the boy refused to stay the same quiet kid who was afraid of voicing his opinions. Although it was a small action on his part, Oliver felt proud of himself, thinking, "My voice is shaking, but at least I am using it." For Adler, this was courage, the willingness to face life's inevitable challenge, instead of avoiding them. In his view, life always presents us with certain life tasks, such as building friendships, forming close relationships, working productively, and contributing to our community. To live fully, you must take risks, despite uncertainty or discomfort. Otherwise, without courage, you will avoid challenge, rely on excuse, and withdraw, deepening isolation and develop the "what's the point" mindset. So, if you let the feelings of inferiority overwhelm you, you might withdraw from life or become overly self-protective. Courage is what allows you to move forward anyway. To say, "I'm not perfect, but I will still try." In Adler's thinking, a truly courageous person is not just pursuing personal safety or achievement. They are willing to cooperate, to contribute, and to be part of the human community. Courage means accepting that we cannot control everything, that failure is possible, and that life is uncertain, but choosing to participate in it fully regardless. 2 weeks have passed since Oliver decided to participate more in his class, and now he decides to text an old acquaintance to grab coffee instead of spending another Saturday gaming alone. He tries to have a longer conversation but the classmate finds it interesting, even though his art is podding. They'll probably think I'm boring, but I'm doing it anyway. He's not fixed, but he's engaged with life in ways he wasn't before. The point is progress, not perfection. Maybe you're like Oliver, playing it safe so you never have to feel rejected, but also never letting yourself feel alive. Maybe you've skipped a social event, left a message unanswered, or kept an idea to yourself just to avoid the risk of being seen or judged. Adler would say that you're protecting yourself at the cost of living fully. And just like Oliver, your courage doesn't have to look dramatic. You can just start with one sentence, one action, one honest moment. You're not disconnected because something's wrong with you. You're disconnected because you've been conditioned to hide. You don't have to be perfect, you just need to be real. Start by journaling your fears of connection. Practicing small acts of social courage, no matter how simple, such as making eye contact with strangers or asking for help with something you are struggling with. Like Oliver, you don't have to wait to feel ready. You just have to begin. If you're ready to start, let me know in the comments what your first act of courage will be.